It's nearly Halloween in the Grimdark of the 41st Millennium, and today I wanted to recognize some of the amazing cosplayers that bring Warhammer 40K to life. So today we're going to be talking about some of the best cosplayers for each faction. Unfortunately, not every faction has cosplayers right now, and there's some of them I just don't know if anyone could ever pull off. But I'm going to do my best to recognize as many as we can. There are also cosplayers who do multiple different factions, and I'm just going to recognize them for one of their factions, but please go check them out. And this is not a comprehensive list. There's a lot more that we could be talking about, but I wanted to keep it to just one cosplayer per faction for now. If you have recommendations of your favorites, please let me know in the comments below. I always love to check those out. They're one of my favorite things to follow on Instagram and TikTok. And on top of that, every single one of these cosplayers will have their Instagram handles listed below. So I'm super, super excited to share this with you guys and let you guys see a little bit of the 41st Millennium in real life. But before we get started, anyone involved in cosplay or at conventions needs energy to push themselves forward and to be able to handle everything that they're going to be handling. So that's where today's sponsor comes in, W Energy. Oh, sorry about that. Just enjoying a nice clean W Energy. It's our new sponsor on this channel that I'm super, super excited to have involvement with. They're a clean energy company that specializes in unique flavors and a bunch of different varieties of products. In the past, I've had some health problems in my life, and I've become very particular about what I take in. And unfortunately, in the energy world and in the hydration and electrolyte world, it's pretty hard to actually be super detailed without spending a ton of money. And that's why I enjoyed W. They're a very clean and healthy alternative to your big energy drinks like Monster. But on top of that, they're actually designed with electrolytes. They also come with the electrolyte-specific version called W Hydro that is also a big part of what I take in. So I would definitely recommend checking them out at w.gg. And if you use code WARGAME, you can get 10% off any of your purchases. I'll also have a link down below in the description so you can go check out their starter pack. To try and keep everything on task, we're going to talk a little bit about some of this amazing cosplay we're seeing and all of the really cool stuff that I found just scrolling on social media. And I have to admit, I'm a big fan of everyone's work here, and I really hope to see more. So we're going to break this into three parts. First, we're going to do the Xenos, then we're going to do Chaos, and we'll finish with the Imperium. We're going to do that because the Imperium has considerably more than anyone else, which is kind of sad. I'd love to see more Chaos and Xenos cosplays, but everybody's got their favorites, and that's what they want to cosplay, and I am fine with that. Honestly, if I were to ever try and cosplay something from the 41st Millennium, I would probably be a Space Marine too. That's just me. I would be. But let's dive into the Xenos list and check out some of my favorites. So start this out with a bang. I have one of my favorite cosplays I think I have ever seen, and that is by Narga Livestream, who will pop up her handle right here. She does a Howling Banshee that is fantastic. On top of that, she does a lot of other things as well. She has Sisters of Battle and a bunch of other Warhammer-themed cosplays that you should definitely check out as well. But because of this particular one, I felt like I'd put her in this category. So I would definitely recommend going and checking out more of her work. And if you have any other Aeldari cosplays that you think are really cool, let me know in the comments below. I love to check them out. I'd love to see more of them. The next one that I really enjoyed seeing was a Necron cosplay. I've seen a few of these, but not a ton of them online. And unfortunately, most of these cosplays don't have the actual cosplayer tagged in them. A lot of times it'll just be a convention, and here's a cosplay. And I didn't want to use any of those, even though I like some of them better, because I couldn't give credit to the person who actually did it. This one was Abaddon Cosplay. It was a Necron Lord that I really, really liked. He has his son in it in the actual pictures, but he really pulls off the Necron aesthetic and gets that feel for everything he's looking for there. And the last Xenos that I can easily find from those I follow is the Tau. The Tau have a really, really talented cosplayer that runs around the UK and does a lot of really fun cosplays. His Instagram handle is Minty Boy Hobbies, and I really love everything he's done with the Fire Warrior aesthetic and getting all of his breacher gear and everything organized to properly cosplay the Tau. Now, that's it for the Xenos that I could find. Like I said earlier, I did see a lot of other Drukhari and things like that were posted on Instagram, but no cosplayers were tagged. And I didn't want to actually point you in the wrong direction or credit the wrong person. So I didn't do any Drukhari or anything like that. If you know of a really good Drukhari cosplayer or any of the other Xenos factions, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure all of us would love to see them and see all of the really cool aesthetics that you can see in Drukhari or the Leagues of Votan or any of those other Xenos that I might have missed. Next, let's jump over to the Warriors of Chaos and talk about them. So Chaos was actually the hardest faction to find, which kind of surprised me. I expected to see a lot of World Eaters and Thousand Sons and Death Guard cosplays, but I couldn't find them anywhere. I was able to find some, but they were always that situation where someone else had taken the picture and tagged themselves, but not the cosplayer, or it was the official con website, but they didn't tag the cosplayer or even acknowledge who the cosplayer was. So it was a real struggle to find good ones. I did see several that looked really, really cool. And if you know of any Chaos Space Marine cosplayers, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to follow them. That aesthetic is really cool. But for the Chaos Space Marines, I went with the Arch Heretic himself, Horus Lupercal. And Exeter Cosplay does a fantastic Horus cosplay that you've probably seen in Warcom articles and things like that. He first wore it to Warhammer Fest 2023 and was recognized by Games Workshop themselves for such a spectacular cosplay. So definitely go check him out. He's got some other really cool cosplays as well, but for the Chaos Space Marines, this one was just too good, and I needed to make sure it got represented here. Next is one of my favorite cosplays I've seen throughout all of this, and this is a Khorne Cultist. The cosplayer is Oladash 11, and if I mispronounced that, I apologize. She's a Russian cosplayer, so that's why my pronunciation was probably horrible, but she does a fantastic job with this Chaos Worshipper. She's got several others, like a Repentia and a Sister of Battle and things like that on top of this one, but this was my favorite of hers, and because there weren't a ton of Chaos cosplayers that were actually tagged, it was an easy choice to put her in this one instead of one of the other categories. So let me know what you guys think about the Chaos cosplayers I've picked, and like I said, if you are aware of any others, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to follow more of these, and maybe next year we'll do a follow-up episode with a bunch of cosplayers that may have been missed this year. So let me know if that's something you guys would like, and if you've got some good recommendations. Next, let's jump over to the Imperium and talk about all of the different cosplays for the different factions inside the Imperium itself.
For the Emperor!
So let's get started with the Imperium, and I'm going to start with the Custodes. The Custodes were hard to find, but I did find one who does a spectacular job. He's a major cosplayer who's done a lot of different things, from Helldivers to Skyrim to 40K, and he's done a few different 40K characters, but his Custodes was one that really stood out to me, and that is Antelian Cosplay. This Custodes cosplay is right on the money and is really, really cool to look at. And I loved scrolling through and seeing him pictured with other Warhammer 40K cosplayers and being able to see all of the really cool cosplays that he's pulled off. So make sure you check him out. Okay, the next one is the Inquisition. The Inquisition was a pretty popular category for Warhammer 40K cosplayers because it's ornate and kind of wild without having to worry about height variance or bulking yourself out. And I think there was a lot of really good options here. My personal favorite was Brix's cosplay, which will pop up right here for you. She did a spectacular job with a very ornate Inquisitor, including the servo skull that is constantly feeding through data and information. So make sure you check her out, and let me know if you guys have any other Inquisitors that you really like from cosplay.
We stand ready.
Hey everybody, I wanted to thank all of you guys for being part of this channel. It's been a lot of fun to share all of these videos with you and talk Warhammer and other games. If you want to be more involved in this community, we are currently working on building up our Patreon and Discord so that you guys can be more involved, share your thoughts, have discussions, and become a real part of this community. On top of that, we are getting super close to being able to include our shop on this channel so you can get your Readers of Wargame merch directly here instead of on my website, which is www.tylertartar.com. So make sure you go check that out as well. And if you can, one thing we're missing is watch hours. So if you can spare us a little time and check out a second video, I would greatly appreciate it. The next category was probably the steepest competition. So I had to go with a cosplayer that I actually followed since before I got into Warhammer 40K, and that is Armored Heart Cosplay. She does a fantastic cosplay job on pretty much anything she touches. So I would definitely recommend checking her out and following her. And her Sister of Battle is fantastic. It's dead on exactly what I would expect from the Adepta Sororitas. So let me know if you guys have any other Adepta Sororitas cosplays below. I'm always looking for more of them. They're always fun to see. And it really does help bring a lot of the stories to life, especially with the lore accurate list I'm working on right now. And that is a teaser for a coming episode for sure. Next, we're going to tackle the Astra Militarum. The Astra Militarum was another pretty broad category that we did find a lot of people who had pretty cool cosplays. But there's one that kind of stood out to me, and that is Iron Warrior Cosplay, who is a Kriegsman. He comes in his full Krieg kit to a lot of conventions in the UK. So I haven't been able to see him personally, but his work is fantastic. So make sure you check him out and let me know in the comments below if you have any other Astra Militarum cosplayers that you like to follow as well. Now we're going to end with the broadest category of the Space Marines. There are hundreds of Space Marine cosplayers that have really, really good kit that I really enjoy seeing and following. But there's one in particular that I lean to the most because of his quality and his faction. And that is the Coraxian cosplay. He cosplays a Raven Guard, which isn't super common. You see a ton of Ultramarines, you see a bunch of Imperial Fists, but you don't see a ton of my main factions, the White Scars or the Raven Guard. I had looked really hard to try and find a good White Scars cosplayer and couldn't find one anywhere, but I was able to find this Raven Guard cosplayer that does a fantastic job, and that is why he's at the top of the list. Now, I know there's a bunch of Space Marine cosplayers that do a fantastic job as well. Feel free to let me know down in the comments below which one you like best, and I will check them out if I'm not already following them. So, now that we're in the Halloween spirit and talking about all of the really, really cool cosplays and potential costumes for Warhammer 40K, let me know in the comments below what cosplay you think I could pull off. I would love to go a bunch of different directions, maybe a Space Marine eventually, but I'm not sure I could actually pull it off. So if you think I could, let me know in the comments below which one you think I could pull off, and let me know which one of these cosplays was your favorite. And finally, don't forget to like and subscribe. We have a bunch of really fun stuff coming over the next month or so that has already been scripted and ready to go. So make sure you ring the little notification bell so you get notified anytime we have a new video come up. And finally, don't forget to check out today's sponsor, Dubby. It's a fantastic energy drink that I use almost daily. So make sure you check them out and use code WARGAME to get 10% off of your next purchase. And have a happy Halloween, and I will see you guys on the next one.